It's human nature to fear the undead, to fear the unknown. Even people to this day are afraid of death for good reason. What's beyond it, and what's so terrifying? I believe that this is the reason why people love zombies so much, is the fact that they are the unknown. They're at the other end of the spectrum. So what they fear is what we fear. Ever since zombies were created by George Romero, zombies are terrifying. They're undead. Then nobody knows exactly what will exactly stop them. Because even if the movies and video games are right and we have to attack them in the head, what's to prove that that will stop an entire horde of them from coming after you? It truly is no wonder why the zombie is so famous throughout majority and history standards. I mean, the zombie is a pretty much a terrifying creature. It's something that's already dead that somehow comes back to life to basically invoke an infection. Sort of like a disease, zombies can't be easily stopped, just like a current disease can be. Sometimes a disease can be stopped with common medicine or by getting a certain vaccine. This is not the case with zombies. Once you're bitten, there is no chance of stopping it. There is no chance of getting rid of it. Once you're bitten, you have the infection within inside of you. That's the terrifying thing about zombies. But within all zombie mediums, I have to say that I am not exactly one of the biggest fans of zombies. Oh, sure, they're cool creatures and definitely very terrifying. I don't find them exactly truly terrifying in my own rights. And of course, the myth of zombies has existed since days old, such like voodoo zombies and people coming back from the dead somehow. But we're not talking about just the mythology of the zombie or zombie movies. I've already reviewed Night of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead in case people want to see it, so you're welcome. And also, I have other zombie movies I'll be taking a look at for Zombie-ween as we continue. But Zombie-ween continues on by talking about, as I mentioned last time in the teaser, high school. More specifically, we are going to look and grasp through the High School of the Dead together. And no, this is not a little tiny book. This is an omnibus. So join me, my friends, and we're gonna go back to high school, but High School of the Dead. Reading Geeks and Nerds and Lady Universe. Sorry, let me rephrase myself here for a minute. Greeting ghouls and goblins, I'm Lady Universe and I'm White and Nerdy. Sorry about that, I meant to do that instead, but completely very sorry about that. So anyways, welcome back to Lazyween. And I apologize for the little mishap. I was gonna try to just go through without it, but no, I'm correcting myself. Welcome back to Lazyween, and I'm taking a look at one of my favorite all-time horror manga series, believe it or not, High School of the Dead. But not because it involves zombies actually, but because in of the more great message behind it. It actually kind of plays upon like what would happen if a zombie horde really did exist, even in like a comic book form. How would we deal with this? And the fact is, too, I read this during the entire pandemic era, and in fact, it kind of reflects that, kind of in a way. That's and how I describe zombies as being sort of like a virus, like an infected human. That's not exactly wrong. The best thing that kind of can be described from it is from one of my favorite Telltale games, the Walking Dead Telltale game, in which they described how the bite actually worked like an infection. Very creative on the writer's part of this. By the way, if you want me to review this, let me know. I mean, just comment down below if you want to see me review The Walking Dead. Telltale, this is only just the first season that I own. But High School of the Dead actually was pretty damn decent. I remember, a lot of people always saying, like, it's so fan servicey and whatnot, and, it is. But it actually had a really much more impactful message behind it. And the thing is, I had to go back before I did this video and basically make my own little censorships. So very similar to Monster Musume, I had to make my own censorship by using sticky notes of all things. I can't really edit these videos, so I can't make my own funny censors. But I tried for what it's worth, and I'm not gonna go through chapter by chapter by chapter. But I do want to highlight some of my favorite moments, and also impact, talk about the impact of the story have had, especially even still nowadays, where I think that a lot of impact from just this story is very damn decent. And I'm not gonna show the cover or the Dutch cover for the Omnibus because you can look it up on Google, but the Dutch cover, the inside of it has what I can assume, and I can't really censor it too good. I mean, it kind of censored, but I don't want to take my chances with YouTube. It had two girls covered in blood or whatever, or red ink, you decide, and they were just laying side by side next to each other. I mean, like one's laying like this, the other's laying like this. So I'm just taking my chances and playing it safer with YouTube. So there are going to be a lot of other moments that I'm going to skip over this because I like to play it safe. Because, yeah, when I was doing a Monty Musume, I skipped over a lot of things because I was very afraid. And that video is still good for what it's worth. But I'm still, trying to do things. If you guys want to read it without the fucking censorship, these are cheap through Amazon. I think I got this for like $30. Buy your own manga. And yes, it is the color volume. And no, I don't care that it's the color volume because these are actually awesome, so to say. And actually, I rather say that High School of the Dead in color kind of worked better than it would in black and white. That's just my opinion. So, without further ado, without me getting in the way, let's talk about High School of the Dead. Also, before I review the book, here is the High School of the Dead thing. This is the Dutch cover, so I'm not opening it up. This is just the Dutch cover that I wanted to show you, and you can see the parental advisory because of the explicit content that is involved in it, and on the back of it and everything. So, yeah. I did not pay $60 for it. I think I paid like half of that price. So, just showing you. And inside, I'm not going to show the inside, but yeah, pretty cool Dutch cover, all things considering. High School of the Dead opens up in a very kind of mysterious way, with the zombie infection already happening and attacking fellows of the student, such as Ray and Takashi. But what is going on, and what has actually happened for the zombie virus to start affecting everyone? According to the manga, only 2 hours after the students went to school, that's when everything started to go to shit. Everybody was just meeting up for school, getting ready for the school day. But then, as it turns out, the zombie infection has quickly started. There was a couple of teachers up at the end of the school trying to keep people out, especially for people that are getting too rowdy and whatnot, when they don't exactly see the dead just standing there and just confronting them. This just actually happened when one of the idiot teachers get bitten and he transforms into a zombie. This is when they realize that they're trying to call 911 when yet it doesn't exactly work. Because once they do, all they get is a big D signal because too many people are dialing the emergency services and no one is currently available. When as quickly, and also as suddenly as possible, the zombie horde just starts attacking, and people are not safe. They just get attacked, and everybody is fighting for the fear of their life, so they have to run away or else they'll be infected by the zombie. And what's worse, and out of nowhere, the military starts to come into the school. Yeah, I put a sensor here because it's an upskirt shot, and just to be on the safe side, I do not want YouTube coming in here and being like, you can't have this in your video. However, to Ray and Takashi, Hisashi had died. He'd been bitten by a zombie and is going to change. Ray later on blamed Takashi for Hisashi being bitten and being turned into a zombie. See, the creators wanted to invite something that was more than just involved in the series, more than just being about, running away from monsters and all that. So they actually put in a love triangle between Hisashi, Takashi, and Ray. And to be honest, it actually pulled point because that was something that they talked about early on, was that Ray was in the middle of a love triangle, and both Takashi and Hisashi were at the ends of it, and Ray was going to make her decision that day, We later on find out in the said manga that Rei was going to choose Hisashi, so she believes that Takashi let him die because he knew that Hisashi was her choice. Even though that's kind of confusing and convoluted because I've been involved in a love triangle before. I've said this before numerous times. And, dude, like, you know that the woman's choice is her choice, right? I mean, I've been at the butt end of a bunch of women deciding what to do with me, both friends and girlfriends. You do realize that you were never gonna win to begin with. You do realize this, right? I do kind of like it, but I think that it's more kind of forced to begin with. I think that they should have never said it until later on in the manga, was that Hisashi and Rei were going to date, and that Takashi was just going to be the lonely friend in the middle corner. So he was gonna be like, that music video from Donnie Darko, all around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. Also, what's more for this manga is that I love the Ragband Team that's put together. It's a seriously Ragband Team of a bunch of students and a nurse all combining together to face off the world. It's kind of humorous. What's more is that this manga has social commentary, that the world is being under attack, that the world has gone to hell, the world had gone to war. So technically, like, World War III had started. And the worst part is, it's an army you can't stop. But while at a gas station, Ray ends up attacked by a murderous guy, and I'm not going to show you the next page because he grabs her tits very hard. He comments or compliments that they are gigantic, and he basically wanted to have his way with her. But everybody eventually gets back together, and they all eventually are happy that everybody gets to be together. So what time is it? I think it's time for a bath sequence. Yep, everybody's in for a bath sequence. And as you can see, I had to censor quite a lot of it. But I think it's pretty nice that you get to see the girls all basically have a nice time in a bathtub together, which I'm pretty certain that women don't actually do this, but whatever. It's a nice scene to have them all kind of connect and have a kind of moment together. What's more is that in a sort of montage while Takashi and his friend are looking for more weapons to use, somehow the women get upset. Not sure how that is to be, but she gets upset for some reason, believing that Takashi is just after her because she's rich or something. It's never really established. But as I said, the world is going very much to hell in a handbasket. And like I said, the world is facing off against a zombie horde, an unstoppable enemy that, despite their efforts, they can't kill no matter what. But enough of that bullshit. Who wants to have some relationships? As we get to see the nurse is drunk and she actually goes after Takashi. Kind of weird. But it's like everybody going after somebody because they're drunk and horny. Props to where this manga could go. But meanwhile, we must talk upon my favorite story of this. The story of the little girl named Alice. Now, what happens next is very kind of dark. So, if anybody had lost a loved one as of recently, or lost a loved one kind of in a very similar threatening manner, I recommend you click off the video now, and I completely understand. Because what happened to Alice's dad is one of my favorite shocking moments in all of comic books and manga. So, if you want to click off the video, I highly understand. But if for those of you that are brave enough to want to keep watching, and if you get scarred or emotionally scarred or you have an emotional breakdown or whatever, do not blame me because I gave you this warning. So, without further ado, what happened to Alice and her father? So, while during the zombie horde, Alice's father was trying to get her protection, as we wanted to batten down a door from somebody that was keeping it locked from them. When they open up the door, Alice's father is stabbed by a family. Not a family of zombies, a family. And he dies right there, holding on to Alice's hand. Crying as her father passes on, claiming that she will always be with him no matter what, and that she'll stay with him as the zombie horde keeps coming closer and closer to the two of them. Speaking of zombie horde coming closer and closer to them, Takashi and Ray have to battle down. The zombie horde is coming, and they're coming pretty damn fast and pretty damn quickly, with them running out of bullets within just a matter of time. All before Takashi had to do the very famous thing he had done with Ray by using her boobs as leverage to start shooting the zombies, creating one of the most impressive shots in all of manga, which, as I said in another video, this can't work.